18 months later, after her crawling under the bills, I made $4.6 million.
You need to stop being selfish, get out of your own head, and recognize that you're here to serve.
We all have a choice in the world.
Yeah.
God, or whatever you believe in, knows what you're supposed to be, knows what's inside of you.
Yeah.
But most of us take the choice that makes us feel good.
Rise and shine!
It's espresso time.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I am not a morning person, but if you create a schedule that inspires you daily, it will change your life. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee, know that I believe in you, and get ready for a shot of espresso from Brendan Burchard.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
You have to be all in, and it's the hardest thing to do because if it fails, then you can feel like a failure. I think of this idea of performance necessity. Two stories kind of come to mind. One is I was working with an Olympic gold medalist sprinter, and we're in the tunnel, and we're going out, and he's talking about the competition, and we get out to the blocks, and I said, he was really worried about the competition. I said, well, how do you even gauge, like, who's going to win? You know, in his particular race, people are winning, but by 1/100ths of a second, tenths of seconds. I mean, these are really close sprints. And I said, well, how do you know? I said, who would you even bet on? And he says, I would bet on the guy who gets down at the blocks, gets himself settled, looks at the finish line, then says, I got to do this for my mom. And I was like, ooh. That's good. His performance necessity in that is, it's necessary for him to win that race for his mom. I think of, when I started my career and I really decided to go all in with writing and online training. This is like 2006. I'd gone broke, completely bankrupt, and failed. I left my corporate job. I had this cushy kind of corporate job as a consultant. Good job. Left it to write. And I didn't know how to make it as a writer. I wanted to do seminars and workshops, didn't know how to do that. So I was pretty much a hot mess, ran out of money. I got nothing to my name, nothing, no positive prospects. No one's calling me except the guys who want the money. And one night I'm writing, and the apartment was so small, on the bed I had all, my bills, my vision boards, all my research, all my journals. Like, the bed was basically the desk, the extended desk. And my lady comes in, Denise, and she walks past me, but she sees I'm like trying to write. So she doesn't want to disturb me. She crawls under the covers of the bed. And I'm just typing, casually typing away. And I look over and I see my woman sleeping under my bills. Wow. And it was just like, because none of us want to see our family suffer because we are not performing.
Sure.
And I was just like, I gotta figure this out. And I'm telling you, I wrote more that night than any night in my entire life. Next day I wrote more than ever. That birthed Life's Golden Ticket, which became a bestseller. And in 18 months later, because I was like, I'm gonna figure out this online thing, I'm gonna figure out marketing, I'm gonna figure out how to teach, I'm gonna figure out how to train and get paid for it, because I'd never really been paid for those things. I said, I'm gonna figure out this industry and I'm gonna make it. 18 months later, after her crawling under the bills, I made $4.6 million
Jesus.
online. Total transformation. People are like, how did you do it? I'm like, she was my necessity. I was not going to let my woman be in that situation. And she believed in me, she supported me, she married me. And, but she was my drive. And the second part was, I went all in with my identity. I said, I am going to be a great writer, and I am going to be one of the greatest online trainers there ever was. As you said in the intro now, we've graduated over 2 million people have taken our online courses and video series now. I don't think it would have happened if I hadn't had the guts and maybe the no other choice to say, this is who I'm going to be, and I'm going to build into that. And it is necessary for me to become that person. So let's go.
Every day there's a battle raging inside you. The battle is between the comfort version of yourself and the growth version of yourself. The comfort you wants to be comfortable, doesn't want to push, wants to stay where you are. It's difficult, it's scary out there. Let's stay warm and comfortable. And the growth version of you wants to grow, wants to learn, wants to develop, wants to progress, wants to serve, wants to help. And doing that requires having courage, boldness, and jumping into the unknown. And it's a daily battle. It's a daily battle that never goes away, and you have to choose who consistently is going to win. And those daily battles are not won by doing the big heroic once a year things. It's won by doing the daily things, the daily small things that shift your identity forward to teach yourself that you're the growth kind of person and not the comfort kind of person. The first time I met Brendon Burchard was at his event at growth.com. I was speaking in Phoenix. It was his event. I was one of 2 guest speakers. It was him and his partner speaking, and then me and Eric Thomas. And his business partner invited me to come and speak, and flew me down there. And I'd never met Brendon before. I knew of him, obviously, but I never met him face to face. And when I met him, he came backstage. I think it was the day before I was going to go speak, and I met him backstage, and he said, "Hey, I can't wait to see you on stage. I almost never bring on guest speakers who I haven't seen speak before, but you came highly recommended by my business partner, so let's do this. And I'm going to watch your speech and see what you do. I have a TV interview that I'm doing, and I'm going to pause that and make sure I'm done so I can watch your speech." So in my head, there's a lot of stress and pressure. 1, I'd never met Brendon before. 2, there's a couple thousand people out there in the audience. And 3, usually when speakers are on stage, the other speakers aren't super paying attention. You know, they're backstage in their own world doing their own thing, but Brendon was gonna end his interview to make sure that he was gonna watch my speech. And so he was adding all this extra pressure on me. This is the battle of growth versus comfort, of growth Evan versus comfort Evan. My biggest fear is disappointing people. I don't want to disappoint him. I don't want to disappoint the person who paid me to be there. I don't want to disappoint the couple thousand people in the audience. And so we go through these moments where the comfort you takes over. The comfort you wants to play small, wants to quit, wants to back down, wants to find an out, wants to find an excuse for why you can't do something. And the growth you is struggling for control. There's 2 things that I do that help growth Evan come out. And I want you to internalize them, to apply them, to use them, because if you can use these 2 strategies, it can massively shift your identity forward, help you become the growth version of you instead of the comfort version of you, and start giving you the results you want, as well as a more purposeful, happy life of service. 2 things. First one, take on the identity that you do difficult things. You do difficult things. That if something is scary, difficult, or hard, that it's not a good enough reason. That you do scary, you do difficult, you love hard. And so I use those as triggers. And why it's important is you shortcut the thinking pattern. Every time that you say that it's scary, that it's difficult, that it's hard, or whatever words that you use that give yourself a break, that let yourself off the hook, use those as trigger words. That the fact that you said it means you have to do it. The fact that you said it, you thought it, you wrote it, means you have to do it just because. What it does is it shortcuts the excuse, because what normally happens is you say, well, that's too difficult. You've accepted that difficult is a good enough reason for you to play small. You don't go and do the thing. You've accepted then the excuses that come into your head over why you can't do it. And you don't call them excuses, you call them reasons, right? Logical, valid reasons why you can't do it. I want to shortcut all that. I don't want to even allow you to go there, because I don't allow myself to go there. The fact that I said scary, difficult, hards mean I have to do it. So find your trigger words. You can use mine as a starting point if you want, but find your trigger words, and that becomes your new identity. You want to take on the identity that you do difficult things, that you jump into the unknown, that those are no longer good enough reasons for you. And so I did this when I was backstage, when my heart's beating, I forgot what I was gonna say going on stage, like in the moments leading up to going on stage, I forgot what I was gonna say. I have no slides either on stage, right? I don't go with a PowerPoint presentation. There's one slide that just has my name and face on it. That's it, no slides. As if I forget what I'm gonna say, I'm kind of screwed. So breathe. Evan Carmichael does difficult things. I do difficult things, right? You remind yourself. But what that does is put you into a more resourceful state to go and actually solve the problem. So that's step one. You do difficult things. And again, it's not just the big hero moments, it's the micro. There's difficult things that have happened already today that you have not done what you need to do. Because it was difficult and you give yourself an out. Go do it. What that does for your self-love, for your self-pride, for your self-respect, for your self-confidence is incredible. And you need to give yourself that gift. I want you to give yourself that gift every day of doing a difficult thing. And for you, something that's difficult may seem trivial or small for somebody else. When I broke my neck and was struggling with a concussion, getting out of bed was difficult. Just getting out of bed and putting my feet on the ground and standing up was incredible pain through my spine, incredible pain, which is something I take for granted now, but that was difficult. And so when those things happen, you pat yourself on the back. You did it. You did the difficult thing. So that's step number one. You do difficult things. The second mindset shift is leaning into service. It's not even about you. Newsflash, it's not about you. You're here to serve. You're here to help. For all the ambitions that you have for yourself, whatever the thing is that you're afraid to do, usually the thing we're afraid to do is in front of somebody else. You're not afraid of failing, you're afraid of failing and who's gonna see you fail. Right? You will sing in the shower, but you won't sing on the street corner. Why? People will film videos at their home, but not film it on the street where people can see them because you're afraid of being watched. You're not afraid of failing, you're afraid of failing in front of other people. You need to stop being selfish, get out of your own head, and recognize that you're here to serve. You're here to help. You've got a message, knowledge, information that can help people. And by you playing small, you're doing a disservice to them and to yourself. And so that's the other thing that I'll lean into is, yeah, Evan Carmichael does difficult things, but also I'm here to serve. And so when I'm backstage and I know Brendan's gonna watch me and I know thousands of people are watching me and I'm afraid of disappointing everybody, I look out into the audience and instead of seeing 2,000 people who are here to judge me and I'm gonna disappoint them, I'm here looking at them saying, I have a message that can help them. I'm here to serve them. Because what I'm gonna share, Brendan doesn't know. Eric Thomas doesn't know. The other speakers here, his partners, they don't know. I can share something unique that can help them, and my intention is good. I'm here to help these people, not rip them off, not lead them down a dark path. I'm here to help them. And that, again, shifts how you feel about yourself to give you the courage, the boldness, the motivation, the power to go and then do the thing that the growth version of you needs. That's how you get out of the comfort zone. That's how you get out of comfort you, scared you, small you, into powerful you, bold you, courageous you, growth you. Number one, you do difficult things. Anytime you find yourself complaining, scary, difficult, hard, negative, you do difficult things. And number two, you're here to serve. You're here to serve, you're here to help, you're trying to do good, and keeping your gifts to yourself is selfish, and you have to share it and get it out there. Those two things on a daily basis, every single day. That's that battle raging inside your head between the growth you and the comfort you. And my ambition, my intention, my goal for you is to have growth you win a little bit more than comfort you. It's not gonna be 100% growth you. There's no way that's gonna happen. Don't make that perfection the bar. It's that every day, growth you wins at least 51% of the battles versus comfort you. You do that, your life will change. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action to do something in the next week. When you just watch something and get inspired, the science says you have a 35% chance of following through. But when you create an actual action plan around it, you have a 91% chance of following through, and I want that to be you, Believe Nation. And then when you commit to others and have some accountability, like you can in the comment section right here, you increase your chances of following through to 95%. So I want you to follow through. I want to know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down below so I can celebrate you.
Listen, humans are built to serve. Some people are built to serve the world, others want to serve the 25 people closest to them. But in either case, humans are built to serve. So if you're not happy right now, it's because you're not serving enough. You got to pick up this book because it's so inspiring to remind you that we're all here to contribute, to make a difference, to make an impact, and this is your field guide for that.
In chapter 11, that's the last chapter, right?
Right, last chapter.
And Adam does a wonderful job, sort of narrating and telling the story. But then you broke into this piece that I had such an even deeper appreciation for you, where you're like, look, man, like this visualization about like one day when we all die, right? So would you mind? I mean, I know it's totally in the book.
No, it's fine.
But I think it's a great way to wrap this.
So let's say this, man. So I don't care what you believe in. I'm not judging you. I believe in God.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're atheist. I don't give a damn what you are. But for this scenario,
yes,
let's say that you're God.
Yeah.
Let's say that you guys, for those of you who read my book, get the audio book or the hardcover, whatever, I used to weigh 300 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was 175 in high school and 300 pounds.
Yep.
Let's say that I didn't improve myself at all. I die at 75 years old. I'm 300 pounds. I worked for Ecolab my entire life, making $1,000 a month. That's what I made.
Yeah.
And I go to heaven, and you're God. And you have a big, long line of people. And I'm standing in line, I'm coming up, I'm next. So you have Mary Ann. And Mary Ann, you're talking to her, you're judging her. And I'm like, what the hell does God have in his hand? What's that paper?
Yeah.
And so God tears it away and throws it in the trash can, and Mary Ann goes walking away.
Yeah.
Now, you have a piece of paper in your hand, and I'm next. And God says, sit down, David.
David Goggins.
That's right. David Goggins on top of the paper. And I say, and God gives me the paper. And I look at it. And I'm reading this paper, and on the paper I'm seeing all these amazing things. You were a 185-pound athlete. You ran all these crazy races. You broke records. You were a Navy SEAL. You were the only person to do this, do that, do everything. You had a best-selling book, man. You changed millions of lives. And I look at God, who is you right now, and I say, this says David Goggins up here, which is my name, God, but this isn't me. I'm I think you gave me the wrong paper. And God says, no, because God knows all, God sees all. And God looks at me and says, this is what you should have been. This is what you should have been.
Yeah.
This is what you should have been.
Yeah.
You should have been this. We all have a choice in the world.
Yeah.
God, or whatever you believe in, knows what you're supposed to be, knows what's inside of you.
Yeah.
But most of us take the choice that makes us feel good.
Yeah.
We're not willing to break through those barriers to find, so my whole mindset was this. That's how I visualize. I visualize that one day I will be judged by something much more powerful than me.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is, while I'm living on earth, God knows everything about David Goggins. Even God, I want God to be up there with a pen, get another piece of paper saying,
He did what?
I didn't even know he'd do that. I didn't know he'd do this. So I want God to be impressed with how I turn out.
Yeah.
Which means I want to check off every single box of all the possibilities of what I'm supposed to be in life.
Yeah.
Leave nothing to question in my life.
If you want another awesome Brendon Burchard video, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Most people don't have a calendar.
Achievers schedule their success.
What is batching? To explain it in simplest terms, we can talk about laundry.